Hello, and welcome to Happy Time, Happy Money podcast. And today we have Melissa Bauknight. Melissa is a vision and business coach, founder of the Ripple Connection. After spending 50 years working as a successful corporate sales rep, she knew she was meant for more. After becoming a mime, live as a corporate sales executive, and experiencing burnout, the time for change has arrived. Determined to create a life of balance, she is here to share with us how she made that happen. So hi and welcome, Melissa.
Hi, so much for having me.
Absolutely. And I always love a topic on productivity and time management. It's my passion. I'm so excited to hear more about it. And I'm also would love for you to share your story on how you started do what you do right now and what inspired you to do.
Yeah, so I started on a personal growth journey about 7 years ago. And prior to that, I had been living just from my conditioning, from my automatic way of being. And I was really crushing it, from outside results. But I was feeling like I was missing something. I was getting awards, and I'm not saying this to say, look how wonderful I am. But what I'm saying is that oftentimes when we're trying to prove our worth through our achievements, it can leave us feeling really depleted. And that's where I was. And so even though I was doing well in my career, I was feeling like there has to be something more to life. I feel like I meant to do something bigger, to make a bigger impact. And so I started to do some personal growth work, which for me looked like doing some seminars and workshops through Landmark Worldwide, which then opened up the door to the whole world of personal growth. I'm sure you're very familiar with that, as are your listeners. And so I decided to really commit to learning who I am, and really learning who I am at my core, and what drives me and what makes me happy and what sparks joy and what are my values, and really getting intentional about how I'm living. Because I became a mom. I was working like 60 hours running my corporate sales territory and building a business on the side. I also love to have a full life. And I was having a hard time managing it all. I'd look at my calendar and it was full, but then there was no space for me. There was no space for flow. There was no space for freedom. And it was exhausting. And I knew something had to give. So I started to learn how to live more by integrating my feminine energy, which is not just available for women. It's something, our feminine and masculine energies are in all of us. And I started to learn about the importance of rest, about managing my calendar, about, paying attention to my energy and what is filling me up, what is depleting me. And so the more I started to slowly integrate intentionality into everything I did and do, the more I feel like I can breathe, the more I feel like I can say yes to the things that bring me joy, and the less anxious I feel all the time. And so that brings me to today, where it's a practice, right? This is a practice of living. It's not something that you learn on a weekend workshop and then you're done with it. It's something that we learn to live into moment to moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency is always a key. And look, working in the corporate and then building a business is like such a big difference. When you're building things, it's just always the endless to-do list, like the endless miles long to-do list. And so that we really learn, all entrepreneurs, I guess, learn how to manage their energy better, because it's not about time. And I love that you said that about energy, because it's actually managing our energy. So you mentioned as well that you felt overwhelmed, and I want to just clarify for those who have never experienced that, like what does it look like? What is the factors, or that am I experiencing now and don't know that there are burning out mode all the time?
Yeah, so part of it is feeling tired a lot, right? That's kind of the obvious one. If you're like, why don't I feel like I have energy for things? That's one major sign. Also, feeling frantic is one of the ways in which it expresses in me. It's kind of this, like, it gets a little bit buzzy in my body. My chest gets tight. I might even feel like my throat is tight. Like, I pay attention to how my body is feeling. So if my body feels really constricted, then I am likely trying to do too much. My body is quite literally telling me. It might show up in disease. If you're getting sick, if you're having gut problems, if you're having things going on in your body that you're like, I don't understand why this is happening, that could be from overwhelm. And, spontaneously crying is something that might happen too, because you're too full, right? You just feel like you might want to explode if you take on anything else in your life. And so your tipping point becomes something that could be so subtle that normally if you're operating from a place of alignment, and if you're operating from a place of alignment, it wouldn't necessarily tip you over. But when you're in overwhelm, I think the smallest things can kind of set you off.
Absolutely. And I know for sure, like most of us are conditioned this way, like watching our parents, how they just work from like 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. It's crazy. That's what happened with me and my parents. And I know we are conditioned. So what are the ways that we are conditioned to operate from that state?
Right. So if you pay attention to a toddler, they're never in a hurry. I have a 4-year-old son. He's literally never in a hurry, could care less about our time agenda. So when you think about how you were as a little kid, we didn't come out of the womb this way, right? So this is all through our education, through our parents, through, other adult influences in our lives, and then through the way in which we're rewarded. We're quite literally rewarded constantly for our output, production, and achievement. And so it's no wonder when you get to be an adult after you've been in school for however many years, depending if you go on to postgraduate school or getting your collegiate degree, you're spending 20 plus years being programmed to have your output be the thing that makes you worthy. And so what I have been doing personally is really looking at my worthiness from a place of who I'm being versus what I'm achieving. And so it's less of achieving to prove something and more of achieving from a place of nourishment, from a place of impact, from a place of knowing myself, not just to win the next award and get to something in order to feel like I'm valuable.
Yeah, love that. So give us a one number one mistake, as we don't have that much time left. Number one advice, sorry, not mistake, to how to get back into that alignment and understand on like how to manage our energy better.
One of the things I do just as kind of a practical moment by moment tool is when I'm being asked to do something, I might literally just put my hand on my heart and check in with my body and see how it feels. If I know in my body that it's a no, this is not something I need to be doing, this doesn't feel good, whatever reason that is this not mine to do? I check in with my body and see how it feels. If it feels tight, if it feels restricted, then I'm a no. And so really honoring your yes and honoring your no is a great way to start freeing up space in your calendar and creating time for the things that you truly want to be doing with your time.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And the last question that I ask everyone in this podcast is to filling the blank here for me, please. If you really knew me, you will know that I am blank.
Mm-hmm. So fun.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm so fun. I love living. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I know you have some awesome gifts for us today. Can you share with us what it is?
Yeah, so it's called Create Your Vision and Release Attachment. So it is a PDF guide to really teach you in simple ways how to powerfully create a vision for your life that's in alignment, and then how to release attachment to it going exactly the way that you think it should.
That is amazing. I love it. Yeah, and we will link the link for that will be in webpage of this episode. Well, you can, if you listen or you're watching this on, you can just scroll down and there's going to be a link to this episode where you can find a social media website of Melissa and the free gift as well. Thank you so much for coming, Melissa.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for watching or listening. And I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode. Bye.